Pete here with the smallbusinessresourcecenter.com. I have what a lot of people would say is good news. HR 836 passed. What HR 836 does is it ends Governor Wolf's emergency declaration that many people said is unconstitutional. It caused the stay-at-home order. It shut down so many small businesses and it stopped a lot of people from working. Now, of course, I'm just explaining this because it seems like it actually created a lot of problems. And if you did not know, of course, many states right now are in yellow and green phases, and 12 more counties are supposed to go green on June 12th. So I'm going to explain the phases a little bit so you can understand them, and then go back to HR 836 and explain that to you because I can't find a lot of information online about it. One thing that you should keep in mind, though, is in the past, Wolf vetoed any bill that was changing his emergency declaration. But HR 836 passed with a overwhelming majority, so it's not supposed to be able to be vetoed. I'll go into all the details and explain that better. But in the yellow phase, there's 33 counties right now, so you can see the map here to make it very easy for yourself. We have Adams, Beaver, Bucks, Carbon, Chester, Columbia, Cumberland, Dauphin, Delaware, Franklin, Huntington, Juniata, Lackawanna, Lancaster, Lebanon, Lehigh, Luzerne, Mifflin, Monroe, Montgomery, Northampton, Cumberland, Perry, Philadelphia, Pike, Schuylkill, Susquehanna, Union, Wayne, Wyoming, and York. In the yellow phase, you're allowed to have outdoor dining. Okay, and there's other limitations. If you can telecommute to work or telework, you're supposed to do that. You're allowed to have in-person operations, but you're supposed to have social distancing practices. For real estate, I have a video on how real estate's supposed to operate. But just being a realtor myself, I purchased personal protective equipment so I could comply for the complete order. That would be gloves, extra masks, hand sanitizer, booties. I have hand wipes. I keep everything in a book bag with me so I can use them for all my clients. I've been on appointments, and I must say I might be the only realtor in Pennsylvania who's following these regulations. The only reason I'm saying that is I've seen so many other realtors, and about 80% of the time, most of them don't even have masks, and some of them looked at me like I was crazy, and I said, well, these are the regulations, and they just were like, okay. So I'm not saying I agree with them, but of course, as a professional, I'm supposed to do my job properly, and if that's what the state tells me I'm supposed to do, I should comply with that. It's sad but true, maybe. I don't know what your opinion is on that, but put in the comments below what you think. Also, going back to the yellow phase, childcare can reopen. So childcare is open in the entire state. They're supposed to comply with certain guidances. I don't know how you make children comply with 6 feet social distancing rules, because I don't see that happening. They don't seem to comply with anything. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's very difficult to get a child to comply with a lot of regulations that you may want to put in place, but they do have childcare opening with certain rules. Congregation, prison restrictions are in place. Schools may provide in-person instructions only in accordance with the guidelines. Social restrictions. Of course, stay-at-home orders lifted. There's aggressive mitigation. Large gatherings of more than 25 people are prohibited. In-person retail allowance, curbside delivery. They prefer delivery when available. Keep in mind, for small businesses, it's not always possible to pay delivery. And I've been told that some of the delivery services charge a lot of money. So even though as a consumer, you're looking at it, the margin on food is actually so small. A lot of people don't understand that. And I don't want to pick on the services, but other business owners in the restaurant industry say, this app that everyone seems to be asking about, they actually charge 22%. So if you're looking at a lot of small businesses, them paying 22% makes it financially impossible for them to be able to support the business because the margin is not always so big on certain items. So sometimes you got to look at that stuff and consider who you're supporting, and even though it doesn't cost you anything, realize that it can cause them to lose a lot of money. So outdoor recreation, health and wellness facilities such as gyms and spas, all entertainment areas in the yellow phase, and casinos and theaters still remain closed. Kind of don't like that myself, but I think if you're exercising and going to a health and wellness place, you'd probably be better off, not worse off, but it's not my rules. Restaurants, bars may be open for outdoor dining. They seem to like to favor alcohol here with the restrictions. If you're well aware and been following it, we are allowed to get to-go drinks. I think that actually puts the government at liability if you're telling somebody they can pick up an open container. I think if you pick one up and get pulled over, there's a possibility you might get charged. But, I, of course, didn't make the regulations. June 5th, these 34 counties are in the green phase. That would be Allegheny, Armstrong, Bedford, Blair, Bradford, Butler, Cambria, Cameron, Center, Clarion, Clearfield, Clinton, Crawford, Elk, Fayette, Union, Fulton, Greene, Indiana, Jefferson, Lawrence, Lycoming, McKean, Mercer, Montour, Potter, Snyder, Somerset, Sullivan, Tioga, Venango, Warren, Washington, and Westmoreland. Okay, so after the yellow phase transition, then they have a 14-day risk mitigation to transfer into the green phase. And what happens during this green phase? Let's see. Telework is strongly encouraged. Business and person operations have to be updated to follow safety restrictions. All business operating at 50% occupancy may increase to 75% occupancy. Child care is open to comply with the regulations. Congregate care restrictions in place. Prison and hospital restrictions determined by individual facilities. Schools subject to CDC and Commonwealth guidance. Social restrictions. Large gatherings, not more than 250 prohibited. So it looks like you won't be going to any sporting events or concerts anytime soon. I should say large ones. I'm sure small ones are okay, of course, for local sports if they're going to open up. Bar occupancy at 50%. Personal care services, salons, barbershops can open at 50% and by appointment only. Okay. So when you're looking at bars and restaurants, I did have that video where I was in Applebee's at San Jose, and a lot of places in California at the beginning of this had social distancing. That means when you're looking at the bar occupancy, it was every other table was open. And also, so if you were in a group of 4, you can have 4 people at table. But what happened is it was every other table, and at the bar, it was every third seat. Of course, because of social distancing being 6 foot, it couldn't be every other bar seat. So you can't really get 50% occupancy at a bar and still be social distance. Just want to make that point. Not saying I agree with it, just making the point. All entertainment such as casinos, theaters, and shopping malls are open at 50% occupancy. Indoor recreation areas like health facilities, personal care such as gyms, open at 50% occupancy. That's probably fine. Most of the times, unless you're going peak hours at the gym, I don't know how they're going to limit this. I think there's going to be a lot of people upset because if you ever go to the gym in the evening or peak hours, every single machine's taken. So I'm going to be surprised and wonder how that works. So I don't go to the gym at peak hours. It's too busy. That's my personal opinion. I'm not really there to socialize too much, just to exercise and get out of there. So yeah, that's basically what we have here as far as the green phases. And when you're checking out the map, on June 12th, like I mentioned, 12 more counties are supposed to be going into the green phase. And basically, that would be Adams, Beaver, Carbon, Columbia, Cumberland, Juniata, Mifflin, Northumberland, Union, Wyoming, York, and Wayne. So those are the 12 counties. Moving on to H.R. 836. So H.R. 836, or House Representative Bill 836, passed the legislature yesterday evening. So what 836 does is it is a resolution to revoke Governor Wolf's coronavirus emergency orders. So I want to keep in mind that so many times there's resolutions passed that had support on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, and it's been vetoed every time. So this bill here, which basically ends Wolf's orders, passed from a 121 to 81 vote. Once you have a 2/3 vote in Pennsylvania, it's not supposed to be able to be vetoed. So I just want to make that explicitly clear. And basically it says over the next 4 weeks, we have to maintain the Title 35 of the state code that says the governor shall sign a concurrent resolution that ends the disaster declaration. He has no choice in the matter because it passed both chambers, effectively ending his emergency declaration. Now, if that makes you happy, smash the like button and share this with someone you know. So this is important news, and I think it's great. When you're looking at the state of Pennsylvania, there's reports online that says 16% of the people that applied for UC unemployment compensation benefits still have not received anything. And of course, I made a lot of videos on UC benefits and PUA benefits. So many people have stated they have applied, have not received anything. And they said that's over 360,000 people in Pennsylvania have not received anything. This is not acceptable. I don't even know how we can have a state government that somebody applied approximately 2 to 3 months ago and still have not received any benefits. They should be working aggressively to fix this system. It took them over a month to get the PUA system working properly, and in my opinion, it's not working properly because it doesn't seem like it conforms to the bill. It still asks you if you're going to work and looking for a job, and the federal law says that they understand that you probably won't be able to find one and doesn't require you to look for a job. It also doesn't have information that would clearly state, not unless they updated it, because I did look at it over a month ago, but clearly state that if you have a family member that you're caring for, or if you're high risk, you're not required to go to work either. But besides that, of course, you can't refuse work if your job has the PPP loan, or if you're called back and you don't have a health risk. So just want to keep that in mind. If you do need help with unemployment or PUA, you can click on the link for my video. Just search UC, PUA, unemployment, or pandemic employment assistance. I have information about those, detailed information on how to apply and what to do if you have not got your benefits. Okay, so going back over this, just want to try to finish this video real quick. But the Democrats have countered that Article 3, Section 9 of the state constitution that when you have a 2/3 override by both chambers, the legislation is required. So I know Wolf is probably not going to be happy about this because he vetoed every single bill. If you want to, I have an all organic medical marijuana channel, and I don't want to call it a conspiracy theory, but it seems like as soon as they talked about this, they're pushing adult use marijuana, which I am for, by the way, but I don't believe in creating financial problems for people and then saying, hey, surprise, if you guys pass adult use marijuana, we'll be able to fix that problem I created. You know, it's like burning down somebody's house and then driving over there and say, hey, did you know I'm a contractor? Just happened to notice your house burning. I'm here to help. So seriously, people, this is our government. So basically, this is what we got. I think this is good. And I know as far as real estate, by the way, it's been so busy. There's a lack of sellers. A lot of people are still a little bit worried, I think. But a lot of people are asking to sell that need to sell. Buyers, if you're looking at some of the social media sites I have, they've been asking to buy. People from other states, actually, that are more congested, they're trying to find places in rural Pennsylvania. And some people in places like Philadelphia, of course, they're actually getting upset with what's going on in Philly. If you looked at the news and the riots and everything, a lot of those people are trying to move out to the country and rural areas. I'm getting calls and people are like, hey, do you guys have riots where you're at? Can you tell me? Of course, that's a question I can answer and say, yes, of course, we had protests, but no riots. Well, I service a lot of areas in Pennsylvania. If you need real estate help, 610-209-9219. I work all over Pennsylvania, or I can find you a great realtor if I do not work in your area. But basically, real estate is busy and a lot of people do need to buy. Not saying don't be safe. Being safe is still the key. Yes, you can be helped. That's the short story. So hopefully this is going to take effect very quickly. HR 386 is passed, revoking Governor Wolf's resolution on the coronavirus emergency. And I also wanted another note. Governor Wolf, in his own words, was on video yesterday stating masks are not required, even though that they've been pushing this. I don't know what pressure brought him to publicly state that, but he said masks are not required. It's very sorry. I know a lot of people have been upset over this, but masks are not required. We're suggesting it. So, well, God bless everybody, and I hope this information suits you well. Have a great day.